Some people wonder what the meaning of life is. Some people wonder whether true love actually exists. I personally wonder what two ducks wearing samurai armor sword fighting each other looks like. So I spent a few hours yesterday painstakingly drawing this exact picture, and I personally think it came out quite nicely. But then I realized that AI art can draw this in about 2 minutes by me just typing in a prompt of what I want, and in fact give multiple pictures. And whilst I think it's not quite as good as mine, I honestly think there should have been a bit more action in this artwork, like the ducks are kind of just standing there. It's still pretty impressive nonetheless. I actually ended up compiling an entire list of things that I want to visualize using AI art, until I heard that apparently AI art steals work from other artists, and that apparently I should boycott it. But I had a little look into it, and I came up with a controversial opinion that no, I don't actually think it is stealing anything. Currently there are 3 main AI art engines that take this and turn it into this. And unless you actually have a life, you've probably seen loads of TikTok NPCs using apps built on top of these engines to generate AI-drawn portraits of themselves. But the main problem people have with AI art lies in how the engines work themselves. They essentially trawl through literally billions of image text pairs across the internet, and then feed these pairs into a machine learning model to quote-unquote learn how to draw an image given a text prompt. And one of the big problems that people had was that they claimed the machine learning models essentially just mashed together artwork from different artists and therefore stole their work. The reason for a lot of these claims is that the images produced by the AI often contain watermarks from images that they've clearly trained on. But I'm here to attempt to justify why I'm a depressed computer science student and debunk this myth. The machine learning model is just literally a mathematical function which takes in a text prompt and a set of parameters, which are basically just like a set of values, and then outputs an image. And the function is basically fed like billions of image text pairs, and then all the function has to do is find a set of parameters such that when you feed in all the text prompts in the training data, the images you get outputted are as close as possible to the actual correct images. But the point is, the training data only affects the parameters of this mathematical function. It's just a mathematical function at the end of the day. It doesn't literally take and stitch together parts of images that it was trained on. The model doesn't even know what images it was trained on. So when AI art generates an image that has a watermark, that's because the AI has seen enough statistical correlation in the training data to deem that to make a good image, it has to include a watermark, just like all the good images in the training data had. And that's often why the watermarks seen by AI-generated art are often botched or partial. It's not just mashing it in there. But people still have the issue that the fact that the AI trains on images and paintings made by other artists implies that AI art is still theft. Especially because you can even type in prompts asking for images in the style of a certain artist. But I would still disagree that this is theft. Imagine someone looks around a gallery and then draws something. Would it be theft if that drawing was clearly inspired by the paintings in the gallery? Probably not, right? Basically, there shouldn't really be a difference between a human doing it and a computer doing it, especially considering all the images that the AI trains on are publicly hosted on the web. Anyone can see these images. But of course, whilst it might not be theft, there are still plenty of other problems. Namely, artists not giving explicit consent for their art to be trained on. And some people actually say that this is okay as well, because the images are still publicly hosted on the web, and so it should kind of be fair play for an AI to train off. But in this instance, I would say it definitely makes sense for something to be implemented to allow artists to actually explicitly give consent for the artwork to be trained on. Because at the end of the day, I think it's important for, the big tech bros to still collaborate with the artists and give them the option to have their artwork not processed by some big scary machine. And funnily enough, the next version of Stable Diffusion is planning to roll out that exact feature. But unfortunately, the closed source engines like DALL-E 2 and Midjourney are yet to comment on this matter. And because they're closed source, which basically means that their code is not available to the public, we don't actually know what the fuck they're training on. Unlike open source alternatives like Stable Diffusion, where we can actually search through the training dataset, it raises the larger point that machine learning models, not just AI art models, but all machine learning models, should make their training data open and available to the public. And in doing so, we can hopefully avoid another dubious data usage scandal. And this finally leads us to the overarching problem: what the hell happens to the current artists? Now I have 2 points to make. The first point is that AI decided to take over creative jobs first. That has no relevance to this video, I just thought it was kind of funny. The second point is that I see parallels with autotune in the music industry. People were saying that the role of a singer and being good at singing would become defunct because with autotune, anyone can sing. But that hasn't been the case at all. One thing we've seen is that we still laud singers who use next to no autotune at all, praising their natural talent and associating name value with their singing, which is basically their art. For example, if you want art drawn by Banksy, then you want art drawn by Banksy, not a human or computer attempting to copy his style. And another thing we've seen is that some artists basically abuse the fuck out of autotune and make it basically their own art style. So in this way, the role of an artist going forward could be to actually instruct the AI on how to make the best possible art given the vision that you want to achieve. And of course, for the time being, it's still a hell of a lot easier to work with an actual human artist like myself, than an AI. Overall, my opinion on the matter isn't really about taking any specific side, but rather that AI will probably kill us all at some point anyway, so we might as well just enjoy the ride. But that's all I got. I'll see you all in the next video whenever that gets uploaded.